This is Jeff Rouse checking in again from outside of our Story Studios, and look who I ran into today.
Scott Higgins. I'm the Martin County Coordinator.
Scott, it's a pleasure seeing you. Of course, we've known each other for a while, but share with the folks how long you've been in your position.
I've been in my position for 20 years now.
20 years. You must have started when you were just a little guy.
Well, maybe not so.
Well, it's so nice to see you. Say, you know what? We just got done shooting an episode of Martin County on TV. Would you like to see that right now?
I sure would.
Well, let's take a look. Well, we're very excited today to have with us
John Thate.
John Thate. A pleasure seeing you as always.
Well, thank you.
So, John, tell us, as though someone in town might not know, what you do and how it all began.
I trim trees. I remove trees. I call myself an arborist, and I respond to calls when people have either a tree issue, risk problem, storm might have damaged their tree. Sometimes it's a disease problem.
Sure.
Sometimes it's some really unusual questions and complicated projects, but I love solving problems. That's
That is so cool.
Yeah.
And how long have you been doing this?
Well, I started this in 1977. It was June of 77. So it's been a while. This will be year 42.
That's a while. That's
Yeah.
a while. Good
Yeah,
for
yeah.
you. So, John, how did you choose this profession, or how did you get in this profession, or did it choose you?
Well, that's a great question. I would say I was doing a lot of different service type work in the landscape field. You know, as a young person, I grew up in Fairmont and on Shorkers Drive. When I was a teenager going to school, I remember working for Bill Rao at Shorkers Gardens and doing all kinds of different things that are related to trees, plants, landscapes, and things like that. So I was always kind of enamored with that. And then as once Jane and I started a family, my wife, I really was drawn to this trade, and I guess I decided. Well, actually, people helped me decide because I was getting people to ask can you do this? Can you do that? Yeah, I can do that. And it took some can-do kind of attitude, and also a lot of learning skills. And I had different people that helped mentor me, you know, in the trade along the way. So how did I get into it? I wish I had a really I'll just say it was I was inspired. Just inspired.
Do the unique jobs, the different kind of jobs that you take on, still inspire you?
Oh,
That still gives you that tingle that says, "Oh my gosh, this is going to be a real challenge."
I don't know what it is in my wiring, but you know, I've always been kind of a thrill seeker. I like downhill skiing or whitewater rafting. Things I haven't tried that I'd like to try, but solving really complex tree problems that have an element of risk and takes a certain amount of ability to do. Love it.
That's so cool.
I love it.
When you started, a truck, a chainsaw, how did you start?
Very basic. A truck, Chevy Love, I think it was yellow, and it wasn't mine. I borrowed it from my brother Jim, and I borrowed his chainsaw, a little home light chainsaw, and a lot of determination, and then I networked with some people that were more equipped that I knew from, you know, growing up, that were in the trade. They were in the Mankato area, and they used to help me do things that were beyond my capability for size and difficulty when I first started out with that little Chevy Love. And buy, make enough money. I remember I took a second mortgage out on my home when we moved out to the farm. Got second mortgage from Harlan Anderson at Fairmont Federal Savings Loan over here, and it was scary having a second mortgage. I'm buying this old used aerial truck, and Harlan, he says, well, you just make a little bit of money and then you buy a tire, and you work a little harder, and then you fix the window, and old school banker. And I did it his way. I mean, that's
what you did.
That's the way I started, and don't regret it. It was really. I mean, I had 3 children to take care of and family and all that, so it was hard to balance all that. But I'm a risky man, so I was like, can I do it? I can do it. I can do it.
So now, how many employees and such?
In the summertime, there's 10 of us working. We go in different directions and things, and the number of trucks, I don't know, maybe 10 trucks or something.
Oh, good for you. Now, tell us and tell the folks, how big an area do you serve? Because I hear stories, you're here, you're there, you're moving around. How big an area do you serve, or will you help people in quite a distance if they ask?
I don't know if I've ever said no to somebody. I've had people even that have vacation homes, northern Minnesota, Wisconsin, that have asked me to come and do projects for them. If time allows, I will, but mostly it's going to be within about an hour's drive, hour and a half. Now, I just got back from Algona today working for the city of Algona, removing a very large, challenging tree for the city crew. And it's not uncommon to be Algona one day, maybe the next day Okoboji, maybe the next day Windham, maybe the next day could be New Ulm, could be Albert Lee.
Okay. Do you have, how big a crew do you run to do this?
Well, we have 2 crews and sometimes 3 crews depending on what we're doing. So a crew that will be able to remove trees and process them, chip the brush, haul the logs, grind the stumps. That'll require a minimum of 4 people. So depending on what the schedule is, I may make a smaller crew to accommodate a bigger project,
Sure.
or divide according to skill sets and everything, because some of the guys are certified arborists and have that skill, knowledge and skill on how to apply it, and they may need to go this way, and maybe the stump removal, and that's over on this job, so those guys go there. Loader operators, aerial truck operators. It just really depends on what the job might require.
Sure. Now, if you've been in the business for more than 40 years, you've had to have seen many changes in the equipment, in the style of removing, or is it pretty much stayed the same?
I would say personally, I've seen a lot in my own business change, but just because of needing better equipment all the time to meet the different needs and different complex projects or whatever. And then the skill set of the people that I have, I would say, has changed in a really great way. I mean, I love the guys that work with me. They're hard workers. They're just really good people.
Has technology changed your business much?
Technology, yeah. When it comes to the equipment we use, when it comes to bracing trees, there's different types of methods that way than what might have been used when I first started. Sure. What might have been acceptable in a way of pruning a tree 40 years ago is unacceptable today. Some of the advice that was given by university arborist 40 years ago has kind of changed maybe on like what they might recommend for treating tree problems, replacing trees with certain species and things like that. So yeah, there's a lot to stay abreast with to be able to serve people in a complete way, I guess.
Sure. Well, I saw some footage recently of a job that you did in Algona. Very impressive. There's some drone footage and some different things that you must have done down there some time ago. And I thought we should show the folks and show them what that looks like.
Yeah, that was kind of fun. That job, it was really funny. We were working, I think we were working in Algona, and this fellow approached me and he says, we were having lunch, taking a break, we were having lunch, and this fellow approached me and he says, I've got a challenging tree, do you want to look at it sometime? And I said, yeah, what's the address? I'll look at it. So I go over there, and it was big, really big, and it was funny, he says, well, what it'll cost? And I gave him the estimate and the amount of, just kind of guessing what the time frame would take. And he said, well, let me think about that. I said, okay. That was probably in the spring. And that fall he contacted me. And he goes, I think we'd like you to do that. Oh, okay, we'll try and get that done. Got it scheduled. And when I have it scheduled, can't always schedule the weather to be, just what we
Sure.
want. Well, that particular day when we started, the forecast was a chance of showers later in the day or so, I think. But so we all crew go there, and we start on that project. Oh, and then when we get there, the homeowner he says, yeah, I asked the guy that trimmed the tree, the local guy, if he would be willing to remove it, and he said, no, don't call me. Anyway, one of the fellas, I think he was kind of surprised just the size of the project. But it's kind of fun. The guys that work with me, they never say, "Oh, we can't do that." They're
right with you.
Yeah. Like if
That's awesome.
Yeah. So if I think we can do it, they're right behind me.
Well, some of the footage we've been showing the folks now of this Algona job is shot from a drone.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
I wanted to have it filmed because it was quite spectacular, the size and the difficulty and everything. A person had a drone and they filmed it too. So it was kind of funny. I'm up there, rigging, putting lines in trees and setting points to swing these. This top was 100 foot across. And it's probably 80 feet tall is all, but it was 100 foot across.
Wow.
Over top this guy's house and into another tree. And I'd be up there rigging and I could just hear the bzzz. It sounded like a swarm of mosquitoes was like right there.
And that was the drone.
That was a drone.
Well, some of this footage is just beautiful.
Oh.
Just from above, just showing.
I don't know if I've ever even seen
Oh,
it.
well, you are now, so this is pretty cool. You'll love seeing it. So, what the actual process when it came down, because it was such a big job, was it a surprise, or did it go pretty much the way you hoped it would go?
Well, I was spared disaster. I had a great plan, but it's kind of funny. It took 2 days with a full crew there to take the entire canopy out just so it was log standing, and it was a lot of log standing. But it took 2 days to take the canopy out and chip it and dispose of that at the Algona dump. Then on the third day, we had a crane service come in and help us. I think it was a 45-ton crane. And, I had a log chart to estimate with the circumference of the tree. I think the tree was 4 or 5 feet away from the house. It was right up next to the house. And it was very big. It could have been 6 foot across, I believe. Silver maple. Look at my log chart. I estimated it to be about, I think, 8,000, the the piece I was cutting. Told the crane operator I thought that was about 8,000, and it had kind of a crack on the top. It was a multiple stem log, so I put the straps on, and I cut the bottom. And as he lifted this log up, because it was all cement around it, and the house right there, and the customer didn't want the cement cracked, and of course didn't want his house damaged.
Of course.
But after Gemini Studios did the recording of it all, they condensed it, and I gave it to the homeowner because he was working. He actually
You didn't see it?
No, he runs an insurance agency in Algona, and so he's insuring people for problems, and I think that was part of the reason he wanted this tree done, because it was potential to destroy his home.
Absolutely. Makes perfect sense. Well, this footage is outstanding. So, John, I know you do a lot of risky and cool things, but what are some of the services overall that you do?
We try to offer everything related to trying to solve tree problems, and sometimes solving tree problems in mature trees can be solved when they're young very inexpensively. So you'll see sometimes where a mature tree split after a storm or something. Actually, there's ways of avoiding that if you take care of it when they're young. Because a lot of trees that you have planted by a nursery or you buy from a nursery may have incorrect branch structure. And I mean, if you have an arborist that knows how to correct that, very inexpensive. It's the best money spent for if you live long enough to enjoy it becoming a mature tree. So we do that. And mature trees, we trim dead wood and aesthetic trimming and maintenance trimming for if it's over your home. We respond to storm damage problems, construction projects where you may have to have a tree trimmed, removed, protected because you don't want, let's say you're putting a home in and either excavation or soil compaction, all these different things may harm or kill your tree 5 years into the future. We can help give you some advice on how to avoid some of those things.
So if I'm, because I know nothing about any of this, if I have a question or I want to know about an issue that I think I have, they can call you, you'll come out, give an estimate, you'll come out and take a look at the project, that sort of thing, I assume?
I've had so many interesting situations come up, but one that comes to mind here of late, I get a call from a lady from Hawaii, and she wants to know if I can evaluate this farmland that she owns down by Ruthven, Iowa. She wants to turn it into a hunting lodge. So she wants me to inventory all the trees, and she has certain specifics she's trying to accomplish. She wants to have bird watching, hunting lodge. I mean, it was just a laundry list. So then I have to do some research on, okay, what's the best environment to accomplish it? So it was really interesting. So I had a certified arborist go down, take inventory of all the trees, do this recommendation, and I put him as a project manager on that particular job, and they visited back and forth, and then she hired us for, I think we were down there for a little over a week, trimming, removing, processing, chipping brush, grinding stumps, and getting it ready for building a lodge, building a restaurant. All these things, it was just...
Really?
Yeah.
And she's from Hawaii?
From Hawaii, yeah.
Now, how did she find you?
That's a good question. I think that maybe through some form of advertising or maybe in the website that that we have. She did call here just of late. She was going to be back from Hawaii, wanted us to meet, and then she hasn't broke ground to start construction of the lodge yet, but she wants to do some more things to be prepared. So I guess an answer to if somebody has a question with a tree problem, I try, if I can answer over the phone, I'll do that. But I love going out and meeting the customer and seeing the problem, or the situation
Sure.
right there, so I can give a much more educated response.
Do you ever wish you were back with that little love pickup and one chainsaw?
I do. Here's the reason why. When I had that little pickup, that little chainsaw, I was younger and much more able. And my children, they were little, little. They were, if you talk to any old person like my age or older, what was the best time of your life?
Absolutely.
When I was poor and my babies were in my arms. So I don't know if I want to work as hard as what I was doing at that time, but I'd do it in a heartbeat just to have those babies back and
Absolutely.
to have a second go round.
Well, it's an incredible story. Incredible story. And a great success story. And it's through your hard work and taking on challenges and the I can do it attitude.
I would credit to the grace of God, as I've made about every mistake in my life that is humanly possible, probably more than most people. And for some reason, Jane stuck it out, and God spared me disaster. I don't know.
Well, it's an incredible story, and we have been thrilled to have you on for this episode.
Well, it's great to be here.
Have a good day.
Thank you, you too.
Wow, wasn't that a great episode?
It sure was.
Absolutely. Hey, I'm glad you stopped by to say hi.
My pleasure.
And we want to thank the viewers for watching. And as we share with you the sponsors that made this show possible, remember, it's not just the past, but the present that tells our story.